Welcome to the Help or Be Brave podcast show, where we have great ideas on how you can help save lives. I'm Amy Ford.
And I'm Jessica Russo.
And today we're talking with Kerrie Oles of Unlocked Ministries. And I know we say a lot of people are our favorites, but she is one of our favorites. She's been really a part of Embrace Grace since the very, very beginning.
Like forever.
Before we were even a nonprofit, when we were just a small group at our church Gateway, she was a part of it. And I loved it because even back then we just had like small group. I mean, maybe 3 or 4 girls and, just getting started. And she speaks to thousands of women, all the time. But she would always, no matter what, take the time to come personally and speak to our girls. And it's just so awesome. And so now to be able to have her on our digital curriculum to speak to thousands of girls all over the nation.
The world
is just awesome because all her story is amazing. Plus that all of the things that God has taught her in her healing and is just awesome. So let's bring her on. Hey, Kerrie, so excited that you're on with us today. You know that you're one of our favorites for sure.
Well, I love being one of your favorites. I am totally passionately love Embrace Grace. Like, I run my own ministry, but I think it could be a tie of how much I love y'all's ministry and my ministry because I've been a part of yours for so much longer than my own.
Well, and we just have similar hearts. We want to help these single moms just be set free and to change their thinking and changing their mindset and the beliefs that they've believed about themselves that are not of God and all of that. And the way that you teach, even in our Embrace Grace curriculum and Embrace Life curriculum, you break it down in such a great way that it's easy for them to understand, that the patterns that may have been, that they have in their life of really kind of taking that captive, looking at it closely and finding what the root is. And
powerful stuff.
Yeah, really, really amazing. So good. So we
love
already
that.
know
Thank
that
you.
you're helping single moms through Embrace Grace, but we wanted to focus on what your ministry is because I feel like there are people out there that may just have a heart for specifically doing freedom groups and even mental health. We that is like a word we've been using a lot lately, and we keep, people are taking mental health days, and it's kind of even a trendy word because it's a real thing, coming out of COVID and all of that. There's a lot of people that are struggling, and so this Freedom Ministry helps with mental health because
it totally does.
Yeah, it's all linked hand in hand. And so your ministry is such a need right now. And I think that there's going to be listeners out there that hearing about what you do are going to want to start a group at their church or, read it themselves, whatever that might look like. So tell us a little bit about you and why you even started your ministry.
Well, I'm not your typical, I've grown up in church my whole life. In fact, I didn't go to my very first church until I was 30. So I had a really sordid life. I came from a very troubled home filled with lots of abuse and mainly lots happened in our lives just because we didn't all of us know Jesus. But I lost my brother at the age of 12 to a drunk driver on Christmas. And from there, our lives as a family unit, even what we were, just fell apart. And my middle brother went to prison because he got involved with drugs, because he obviously had a hole in his heart from the grief of losing our brother. And so he got involved with drugs, and before you knew it, he was in prison. He's been in and out like 9 times. And so my youngest brother joined a cult, and then literally the only one left was me. And I just had these views of myself because the enemy would whisper to me daily. See, I think so many people don't think that happens, but the voice that tells you you're too fat, you're not worth it, you'll never amount to anything, that's the voice of the enemy. That's not you. That is the enemy. And he told me that my whole life, like, your parents wish you were the one who were gone. They don't love you, etc. And so I began to think, act, speak, and believe all from the places that had become like my identity of that Kerrie's life worth anything. And so it began to, just like any a hole in our heart, we will fill it. I'm telling you, with something. It's going to be drugs, sex, alcohol, men, Facebook, shopping, what kids, whatever it is, we will go from that place to fill ourselves. And mine was boys and men. And I was very promiscuous for lots of years. And by the time I was 26, I was married and divorced twice. And I was involved in very abusive relationships. Back then, telling someone that a boy or a man was hitting me was not something that was considered like, oh, let's do that, or I feel comfortable doing that, or I'm going to blow the whistle on him or whatever. No, you kept it really quiet because you were really, intimidated by what people would actually think of you. And because I actually thought that I deserved that kind of treatment because my life and my past was such a mess. And then I met the man I'm married to now, which I've been married to for 22 years and will be married to for the rest of my life. And he did something no other person ever did. And he just took one look at me and was like, I'd really like to go out with you, but you are all kinds of ways messed up. And so would you go to church with me? And I remember laughing. Literally, I giggled. I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, would you go to church with me? And I was like, listen, I did not want to, but I went to church because I wanted my boyfriend. That's true. This is literally, and we couldn't say that back then. You know what I'm saying? People would think we were bad, but let's not worry about why somebody goes to church. Let's just care that they did.
Yeah, really. Just welcome them in.
Yeah. So literally, I went to church, and I just remember the pastor standing up there saying, do you want to feel peace? Do you want to feel love? And it still gives me a lump in my throat because I remember thinking, I don't know that I've ever felt those two things. And all you saw was the back of my big head running to the altar. And I gave my life to Jesus, and we got baptized, and they said, hey, all your old life is going to wash away. And I remember in the tub with my husband. He wasn't my husband then, but I remember saying, well, you better dump me twice because there's a whole lot of stuff that needs to be left behind. And that is kind of my story. And so the reason I do what I do now is because I grew up having to go visit my brother in prison every Sunday. And it was like just intense emotional trauma for a young girl. And I was in this men's prison every Sunday. And I remember just making a little inner vow to myself. Didn't know it was an inner vow, but I remember saying to myself, someday I'm never going to set foot in a prison ever again. And I grew up after I got saved and got baptized. I started teaching in the church, and which I couldn't believe. It took years, but I was just like me teaching in the church. That's so ironic. And I remember someone said, hey, would you go speak at a women's prison? And I thought, oh, no, not me, no. Mm-mm. And they were desperate, literally. They did not have anyone to speak to 200 of these amazing inmate women. And I went and I spoke to them. And truly, I promise you, the trajectory of my life changed that day because I remember thinking to myself, if those women, if I had not gotten to meet Philip, I may have been steps away from breaking the law or going down a really bad path. Maybe I would have wound up in there. And so I just drove home that day and I thought to myself, I want to do something that helps those kind of people. And so now our ministry is called Unlocked Ministries, and we provide curriculum. We are partnered with Nancy Alcorn, and she gives us books as well, and John Maxwell does as well for women in leadership. And so we send these boxes, kind of like you guys' love boxes, and we call them unlock boxes. And we send them to women who are just gotten out of prison, and they are in transitional homes and halfway houses. Most sex traffic homes, they have women who've been in prison because, that happens. And so we send them there. And then just church groups and anywhere that people need inner healing. And I love that you use the word mental health because that's a better word that people are using now. It's like the buzzword, our mental health because of COVID. Mm-hmm. But really
it's inner healing.
I call it inner. Yeah, it's inner healing, but nobody wants to do that. It's like, are we going to slaughter a pig? Hard. What's about to happen? that's kind of it in a nutshell. But we provide these curriculums, and it helps them become, understand that who they are to a holy God, and that their past does not define them.
Yes.
And then once they do the books, and they get these boxes that they go, oh my gosh, like someone cared enough to put this box together for me. What? And it just begins to open up, like kind of like the place that I discovered, like, wait, so you mean I can not be defined by all the sordid stuff that I've done? What? It just helps them, their trajectory of their life began to take a different spin. And so we've only been around for 2.5 years, but listen, I'm believing big things. I'm trying to, be like Embrace Grace, and get bigger. So
I love it. It's so good. And I just love your heart to just helping these women with their thinking, their inner healing. It's all like entangled together. Yeah. The mental health, the inner healing, their thinking, their patterns, their actions, all of that. And I know for us specifically, everyone that's listening, we're focusing on the single moms or just women, and there are women that are get pregnant, or not get pregnant, but are pregnant before they go to jail or immediately after. In fact, there was one Embrace Grace mom that was convicted of something like during her Embrace Grace class. Not literally during, but during the semester when she was doing Embrace Grace, and that leader like continued to do Embrace Grace with her, like going up to the jail, the prison, and like doing it with her, and they would write letters to each other. So sweet. And so you have like a lot of resources. Which one do you feel like is your favorite? And I've read all of them. All your books are so good. But which one do you feel like is your favorite for, like, if someone was listening and they wanted to start a small group for young moms at their church or just in their home or whatever, that really can help with their thinking? Like, which is the best resource for that?
Well, there's two parts to that. Because see, like, I love that you're doing this, because we know that we're not a whole person until our spirit, soul, and body are all, thriving. And so, for heart work, right? Like if we're doing heart work and we want to like trade some lies for truth and begin to understand that we do have a purpose and a destiny. Sometimes for small groups, I believe my book called For Real, Navigating Truth Through Trials, it is a 6-week session, and it has like chapters and then questions at the end. And I think so many small groups have been, using For Real, and because it's funny, but it's also deep. So it's not like this, like, oh my gosh, it's so deep I can't even breathe, like and it's relatable because obviously it's a lot of my crazy life in it, and people go, oh well, if that can work for this crazy chick, it can work for me too.
I've got a shot.
So I would say For Real. And then if you want to go deeper, and you just want, I would say deeper but simple steps, I would do the Unlock Now 6 Steps to Begin Inner Healing, because it's a shorter book and it is also 6 weeks, but it also has videos online at our website, unlockedministries.com, that can be in tandem with the study. So you can watch me for, 7 minutes. And then as a small group, the leader can then share her story. And then what it does is vulnerability begets vulnerability. And so everyone starts sharing, and it makes the deeper questions a little easier. So I know that's a long answer, but I would do either For Real or Unlock Now for sure.
Or start with For Real and then do, the Unlock Now.
Yeah.
After.
Okay. Yes.
There
Let's do that.
Do them both.
Yeah. So good.
Yes.
Well,
yeah, I would definitely do that. And I just, listen, I have a heart for, just making complicated things simple, because Jesus was simple. He told stories, and he made us see things in the stories that we didn't already see. And so that's kind of like my jam. That's what I want to do. I just want to tell stories and let people get their own revelation of the truth about who they are, not the truth that everyone is saying on social media, not your own personal truth, but the real truth, the Word of God truth about who you are to a holy God. Because when we come to understand that, then we're going to view ourselves and others differently.
There are hundreds of ways to get involved in the pro-life movement. Don't get overwhelmed with all of the options. We've made it easy and simple by creating a tool to help you discover your place in it. Head over to Help Her Be Brave website and take our brand new quiz to find unique ways on how to save lives, customized just for you. Fill out the survey, hit submit, and your results will arrive shortly in your inbox. Visit www.helpherbebrave.com for all the details.
Yeah, it's so true. And you know what you teach in Embrace Grace really is kind of like one little snippet of all of the stuff in your resources. It's a 1 hour class. We call it Chains Night. And kind of more to ourselves as leaders, not necessarily to the girls, kind of like what you were saying, the inner healing might freak people out, but mental health is like, I need to work on that.
Yeah, we want them to come to
class.
Yeah,
so we just, say it's a class, but really we internally we call it Chains Night because it's something where their chains really are broken and they're set free. Yes. And it's so amazing because of your story and then how you break it down. Tell us a little bit about just a short, I remember we had the diagram actually on our Embrace Grace curriculum about the thoughts to the behaviors to the, actually the beliefs, behaviors. I can't even remember the sequence of it.
It's okay.
Yeah. Share
yeah, we know you
a little
will,
bit. Share a little bit about that.
So, I was taught this a long time ago. And so I was like, I'm going to make that even more simple. But when we think thoughts, like how many times a day do we hear something and we think it's ourselves? And we hear like, don't try that. Don't put your resume in for that. Don't try to be a part of that group. Don't, whatever it is. And we're scared and we feel intimidated and we feel not worth whatever that is. It's because the enemy is speaking to us, like I said before. And when we do and act according to what he is speaking, then what I call it is I'm coming into agreement with the lie that he has spoken, even unconsciously. And so it builds up these strongholds from 2 Corinthians in our minds. And I always have pictured them like these walls in my brain, and every time I think, I can do something, I am worth it, all things are possible for me, I do have a destiny. Well, those walls, I'm hitting that wall and that wall's going, nope, 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 is because I've come into agreement with that lie. And so from there, what we do is we set up defenses and we don't even know we do them. But we may reject people before they can reject us because of all the rejection we have felt. We may not trust people. We may be in denial. We may blame others for our life. And then before you know it, we're responding to the world from that place. And we don't understand why everyone hates us or we're mad or they're mad and we're not accepted. And the cycle continues. So a thought comes, we come into agreement with it, creating the lie in our mind, the stronghold in our mind. We build up defenses and then we're responding from those places. And before you know it, we don't understand why our life just won't change. And it's because until we break that cycle of the stronghold and bring that lie before God and say, God, what do you say about the fact that I keep hearing that I'm worth less? And we let God speak to us, not information, but revelation from his divine self, right, to us. And then when we turn that lie into truth, then the cycle is broken and we begin to walk, think, act, and believe differently.
Yes. And that's like, I'm saying this from a perspective of we need to have single moms all need to know this, but really it's all of us.
People.
All of us need to know and realize and fully understand this. And
my first semester of leading Embrace Grace, when I was a part of my first Chains Night, I was like, this is maybe one of the most powerful nights of my life. Like just such revelation with that truth. Like, when we are in an intimate relationship with Jesus and when we give it all over to him, we have power and authority. Like he joins together with us and we have the power to break those things off and to speak that into a single and pregnant mom or a single mom is so powerful. And it's so exciting to get to be a part of that revelation moment for her.
Yeah, some of the greatest times of actually my speaking, like I speak everywhere, but some of the greatest times and memories I have are watching those girls in Embrace Grace. Like it's like a switch.
Yeah.
You know, you can see the dark turn to light in their eyes and they go, wait, are you telling me that like I don't have to believe this way about myself anymore? And I'm like, yeah, no, you don't. You can take your power back because God gave you that power. And when you step into it, guess what? Your life, your thoughts, how you view yourself, how you view the world, it's going to start to change. And I have to break strongholds. We all should be breaking strongholds every day. But see, just using that term, people are like, ooh, that sounds weird. No, it's really just when you hear a lie come into your brain, it's just as simple as it can be. You say, hey, you know what, God, I'm feeling really beat down today. I'm feeling like nothing is going right. What can you just, I'm going to sit here for just a minute. I'm going to take a few deep breaths and I'm going to exhale. And I'm just like, I just need to connect to you for a second. What do you say about me? What do you say about this space? And guess what? He may just fill you with peace right then and you go on about your day. Like it doesn't have to be like this humongous moment, right? But when you first see it and you first understand that, yes, this is how I can begin to think, act, believe, and walk differently, you get a glimpse of maybe this can work. And you see the switch happen from dark to light. And I'll never forget those moments. Never.
Yeah, it's so true. I'm definitely for the girls, that is by far they always, after the whole end of the semester, they say Teens Night is their favorite. There is major breakthrough.
Yes.
And so to everyone that's listening, can you give people information on how everyone can connect to you? What's your social media and your website?
Okay. So it is at Unlocked Ministries on Instagram. And we just put our page out. And so we need all the followers we can get because we need to get the word out. So hop on over to that and like the page for us. That would be great. Or you can connect to me personally or both at Kerrie Oles, at Kerrie, KERRIE _Oles, OLES on Instagram. On Facebook, it's the same thing. I'm Kerrie G. Oles, or I am Unlocked Ministries. And our website is unlockedministries.com. On there, if you just think, hey, like I always believe, this is why I love Amy. This is why I love the ministries that help highlight other ministries, is because there's enough in the kingdom of God to go around.
Yes.
But I love that, like, say you're a supporter of other ministries. If you could even become a monthly donor of $10 or $20 to Unlock, it helps us be able to provide the curriculum to these homes that have no funding and need things for their women, need materials for their women, and, you know, help turn things around. We're all the time doing drives as well, like soap and shampoos and girly things. But if you become a part of our mailing list, or you go to Unlocked Ministries on Facebook or Instagram, we put stuff out there how you can get involved. But we would love, maybe you become a monthly partner, or maybe you just become a prayer partner. Or if at the very least, maybe you go out to the website and you buy a box. Like, you can purchase a box for yourself, and then we give one. That's it's like Tom's shoes. When you buy one, we give one to a woman in need. And the box is beautiful. It's filled with 3 amazing books from Nancy Alcorn, John Maxwell, and my curriculum. It's filled with prayer cards, and, you know, we change it up, put different things in it, you know, depending on what's coming up. And, you know, that's several ways you can get involved right there. But we would love to have anything that you can do to be a partner with us. But if nothing else, just pray for us.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much. And I'm just hoping that people that are listening are stirred to action, stirred and compelled to want to connect with what you're doing, partner with you financially, with prayer, with mentoring a girl, and using Kerrie's resources that are so awesome. And so we're just praying that they do. So thank you so much for being on. Oh, do you have something else?
Well, I forgot to say that on unlockedministries.com at the store, that's where you can buy the books. That's important.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Do that.
Yes, go buy some books, people. We would love it.
Okay, and we'll link in the show notes too, like all the websites and things. So
yeah,
thank you,
and
Kerrie.
start a small group in your home. Listen, I am hugging Amy and Jessica from my computer because they're my faves. So I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
we love
Kerrie.
you too.
We'll see you later.
That girl is a kingdom girl. Like, she loves Jesus so much, and it's just so amazing to do ministry, to love others with other people who just love people.
I know. She always makes me laugh. Every time I'm with her, she is hysterical.
I always feel my Texas accent coming out a little bit more when I talk to Kerrie.
I know. And she always says, like, well, she didn't say it this time, but she says, light my hair on fire. Sometimes we get so excited she wants to light her hair on fire. Or like do laps around the church. I think I've heard her say stuff like that. I was so excited I started doing laps around the church, which she didn't really, but it's funny. Her Texas charm Southern. Is too cute. But yeah, that's so good. And I hope that whoever's listening, we definitely connect with what she's doing. So good. And check out her resources, her book, even just for yourself. It's really a powerful tool to use. And so that is, if you're someone that loves to mentor, to teach, to like bring a single mom alongside you, this is a great way to start conversations. Like, hey, can we do a book study together, or however you want to word it? And using her resources is awesome. And so if you want more ideas on how to get involved in the movement, check out helperbebrave.com. There's so many different things on there. I mean, obviously listening to our podcast, that's on there, as well as our YouTube channel. There's so many. If you're just listening for the first time, there's so many more episodes that we've done, and you can listen and just see what sparks your heart to want to get involved, what you want to serve, how you want to give, how you want to make a difference and help women be brave and choose life. And there's so many different ways, but find something that God created you for, that you will love, and it'll just not even feel like work. It'll just come
share those talents
so
with the
naturally.
World.
Yes, share it with the world. And so check out. You also can buy my book, Help Her Be Brave: Discover Your Place in the Pro-Life Movement. It has over 300 ideas of how you can get involved in the movement, and then also there's even a quiz on there where you can take a quiz, and it will email you a custom list that is custom made for you with ideas that we think that your strengths and gifts are so complementary to each other. It's specific ideas that you will love to do in the movement. So check all that out. Also think about doing a Help Her Be Brave book club. That would be awesome too. So you and your friends together can figure out how to get involved and share these podcasts and resources on your websites, on your Facebook pages, whatever you got, put it out there. Let the world know. Share it with everybody. Tell everybody. We love you. Thank you guys so much. Have a great week.